All right, welcome to another episode of the Bioinventors podcast. Today we have our amazing guest, William Person, who is a former Team USA bobsledder, and he struggled with CTE and found a non-invasive treatment for himself, and he's now trying to push and take that to another level, help others with it. All right, William, thank you so much for coming to this show. Really appreciate you here. And would you want to tell us a little story about yourself? You know how
Yeah.
it's been. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Actually, everything you said, you hit it. Hit it right on the head. I found. Put it this way, I was struggling. Watched a lot of my teammates get sick, including myself. Everybody started. Taking. There was a few suicides, and the truth is, like once I started doing the research of what this stuff really is, I started noticing there was so many people struggling with it. Like the housewives who fell down and hit their head one time. You got our military people, same thing. Like I think we have there's about 11,000 suicides for our military every year. And so it's just a lot of scary stuff. And so once I figured out what this was that was making me sick, and I found out the hard way because it took for my teammates to start, committing suicide. These are the people, everybody roots for every 4 years. And now they began to get sick and stuff. And so once I figured it out, I just started trying to find things that were going to help. And the only thing that I found was hyperbaric oxygen. And I found that because, do you know who Joe Namath is?
I don't. Sorry.
I thought so. You're a young guy, man. You're young. So he was one of the first flamboyant NFL quarterbacks.
Mm.
Yeah, like he would be on the sidelines with fur coats on way back in the '60s. This was before I was born, but yeah, he put
I
out a
see.
series. Yeah, he put out these videos saying that he used hyperbaric oxygen to reverse his CTE symptoms. And so I tried it, and it helped. It definitely helped. So I just been trying to
Wow.
spread the word, and I'm like this is my chamber right behind me. And so
Oh, I
what I
see.
want to do is I'm opening up a wellness center so our veterans, our athletes, and everybody can come and get free treatment. And so
Oh.
that's what I'm really working on. Yeah, because it's so expensive. Like this machine behind me was 20 grand, and it's only like a
Wow.
soft chamber. But the one I need to treat the masses costs between 50 to 100,000.
Hmm.
So yeah, and so most people who need the help, like they can't get it because it's too pricey. It's just too pricey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, of course. And before we get into anything else, would you want to explain a little bit about what CTE is? And what are the symptoms, stuff like that?
The best way to explain it. Did you ever see the movie with Will Smith and called Concussion?
No,
You didn't see
I'm
that
pretty
one? Okay.
uninformed. No.
Man, it spread the word on that. That was the movie that really saved a lot of people because, like, what it is, if you look at all the NFL players around the country who've been like either committing suicide or murdering people, like they've been checking their brains. Like 90% of the brains they checked of the players have CTE. CTE is just it's a really slowly progressive disease, and the symptoms look like a whole lot of other stuff. Like it's hard to narrow it down if you're not paying attention. Like the doctors really need to ask you, what were you doing over the last 5 years or 10 years? Because that's about how long it takes for the symptoms to kick in. So it's very slow, it's very progressive, and usually it makes people just want to just end their life. Yeah, it's a lot of suicides, or they drink themselves to death, or they pick up drugs or gambling or things like that to kind of help them feel better. But this stuff, medicine doesn't work for it. Like I haven't found anybody who takes meds who said, "Oh, I feel great now." No, only thing I've found is this machine behind me.
Mm. I
Yeah,
see, and I assume like you've been to hella doctors probably, right? And try to find
but
some treatment.
yeah. I thought it was originally it looked like diabetes. The symptoms of CTE, it looks like a whole lot of different other ailments. So it's hard to really narrow it down if you're not paying attention to that person's background. Like for
Mm.
example, with our military troops, when they come back, a lot of them they say they have PTSD, but they've been checking their brains when they're because the only way you can see it is when in the autopsies, in the autopsy. So they've been checking their brains, and instead of them having PTSD, they've been also having CTE, which is what causes all the problems.
Hmm. I see.
So, yeah, yeah, and so we're losing 11,000 veterans every year to suicide now.
Damn. Yeah, that's a big problem. And do you want to tell us about, your hyper, is it hyperbaric oxygen therapy? And,
Yeah.
how'd you come up with it or how'd you find it?
Well, I found it because after my last teammate took his life, and once they did his autopsy, he was in stage 4 of CTE, and like then I started doing the research when I could because I couldn't even read very well anymore. I was a writer. I stopped
Mm-hmm.
writing. I couldn't do basic math in my head. I was an electrical engineering student in college,
Wow.
so I could even do basic math. Like if I'm going to the store and buy something, I couldn't figure out how much change to get back, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one day I heard Joe Namath, the football player. He said he used the hyperbaric oxygen to reverse his symptoms. So, I'll be honest, I didn't think it was going to work because I tried everything that anybody ever said about this stuff, and none of it ever
Yeah.
worked. And man, it took my cloudiness away. I had been cloudy for almost 10 years, and it took it all away. And all that dementia I was in, like I was lost in my own community. And so yeah, that thing has really saved my life, man. And I've just been trying to spread the word to get other people out there so they can get some help, so they don't just this thing gonna make
Mm-hmm.
you lay around until you just die, and that's what it really is, or until you just snap and start hurting somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah. And what do you think is like the reason why people don't know much about it?
I don't really. Well, some people say it's because they don't want like the insurance companies don't want to pay for this treatment.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to pay for hyperbaric oxygen. They don't want. They're fighting it. There's a lot of studies that shows how it helps with the mental health stuff, but they don't want to pay for it. And so that's one of the biggest issues right there. Is the information is not getting out there. But there's tons of studies being done everywhere. I mean, I'm a walking testament myself. I was in dementia, and here I am now, up and talking again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I had given up too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, is dementia a part of CTE?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's interesting. And, I really want to know, do you have the information on, the background science that happens behind how hyperbaric oxygen, helps with CTE?
Yeah, absolutely. What it does, I have one of the lower pressure chambers. I have like a 1.3 atmospheres. So it makes
Mm-hmm.
my body think that it's like about 7 to 9 feet underwater. And
Mm.
once it gets to underwater, now my blood is like a gas. So it can get through all the blockages. And it
Mm.
sends oxygen and removes inflammation everywhere in the body. So that's what
Mm.
it really, really does. As a matter of fact, the people over in Europe, instead of them using hyperbaric oxygen, they actually go deep sea diving and they get the
Mm.
same relief. As a matter of fact, every time I get in the chamber right here, it's called a dive. It simulates going
Mm.
down into
It's
the
a
ocean.
dive.
Yeah.
Mm.
So in the UK, they're treating their soldiers with taking them deep sea diving, and it's actually illegal to deep sea dive in the UK, so they have to go to an island somewhere to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, but it's the same
Mm.
stuff. It's identical, doing the same thing.
Mm. I see. Yeah, I get the pressure difference part, but why is it called the hyperbaric oxygen therapy though?
Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure why they call it that,
Mm-hmm.
but it really just once you get in that chamber, it pressurizes, and then
Mm-hmm.
it makes your blood think it's make you think like I said, makes you believe you're underwater, and you just everything's like a gas, and then so it can get through all the blockages,
Mm.
and because usually like if you have a stroke, they'll put you in that machine to reverse your symptoms.
Mm. I
Well,
see.
they do that for the rich people though. If you're not rich, you might not ever hear about it. Yeah, yeah. So a lot of
Okay.
the
And I
rich
see
people, yeah.
yeah. That could be one of the main reasons why the treatment is not popular, right?
Yeah, that's really it. It's expensive, and they don't like to pay for this stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
like even if you have people that have strokes, they'll if you have a massive stroke, they will they'll put you in a chamber and it'll reverse that stroke because it's getting past all the blockages. Yeah. Do you know Jamie Foxx? You know
No.
Jamie Foxx, he's a big music. He's one of the biggest stars in America. He's an actor. He won an Oscar. He's
Mm-hmm.
a singer. Um, I used to work with him years ago, and so when he had a they said he had a stroke on the movie set with him and Cameron Diaz, and
Mm-hmm.
I called into the camp and I told him, I said, hey guys, I said, first of all, don't tell me if he had a stroke. I don't want to know. I said, but if he did have a stroke, I said, check the technology behind hyperbarics, because what they say, it will reverse what he's going through. And I'm not sure if he used it or not, but that's the type of equipment that this thing does. That's what it does. Yeah.
Hmm. Wow, that's awesome. And how much did you say it was to, get therapy for hyperbaric
Well,
acid? I mean, oxygen.
well, well, if you want to do it, there's just different ways of doing it. Like you can't go to. There's different ones they have in the hospital. There's a lot higher pressure chambers, are like 3 atmospheres. So
Mm-hmm.
if you want to go use those, you're not gonna. Only insurance will pay for that. Most hospitals won't allow you to use that unless insurance are approving it or something like that. So you won't be able to get to those. But if you go to Google search and type in hyperbaric oxygen or HBOT near me,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of chiropractors or wellness centers who have these things available. And if you go there, like in Los Angeles, they run about $200 an hour.
Mm.
And so for me, the first time I did it, I was in there for an hour, and it cleared up a lot of stuff. Like I felt so much better really quick.
Mm.
And but some people need, I think they need like 2 sessions a day for 30 days. So that's about
Wow.
$12,000 a month is what they really need.
Hmm.
And so yeah,
Mm.
and so that's the problem. People aren't using it because it's too expensive, and they just don't have access to it. So that's what I'm trying to do different. So with my
Mm.
wellness center, we're already set up nonprofit, and we're gonna take only donations. I'm not taking any investors because I don't want to give a bill to the families,
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
so that's what we're working on right now.
Hmm. Okay. And how's it been going? Like, has people been coming a lot? How's the feedback?
Well, I'm not open yet. We're still trying to raise enough money
Oh.
to get the other equipment. Right now, I only have this one chamber here, so I can only help a couple people here and there.
Mm.
This chamber is not designed for the wear and tear of the masses, but the one that
Mm.
I'm going to
Okay.
have built is for like between 4 to 6 people can fit into that one. So if
Oh
I'm
wow.
open for 8 hours a day, that means I can probably if I can get 6 people in there, 8 hours, 48 people a day, we can treat. So that's what we're looking at doing. Like I said, the
Mm.
number one goal, it has to be for free. We have to raise that money elsewhere. Otherwise, people just can't afford $12,000 a month to do this.
Yeah, that's true. And you're planning to fund that by just using your GoFundMe, or is there other?
Yeah, GoFundMe, and I'm also set up for not for profit, so we'll start hopefully building partnerships with different companies around the world and
Mm-hmm.
see how many lives we can save. That's what it's really about, saving lives. And
Okay.
and I don't know if you've looked at the mass shooting issues in America. Like most of that stuff is tied to this condition. 31% of the mass shooters are our veterans coming back from war.
I see.
Since 2012. But for people under the age of 60, most of the mass shooters are veterans.
Mm.
So we got to do something to help these guys. And I already know what it is because I already went through the therapy myself, and it's helped me. Yeah.
I see. That's interesting. And for the audience that are watching, that has family members or just peers who have this disease, where can they come access your information, and where can they come see, for example, your machine?
Well, they can look me up on I'm on TikTok. I have a social media
Mm-hmm.
called One Man with a Chamber. One Man with a Chamber. You can find me over there. I'll help you. Like if you have a family member going through this stuff, I'll show you how to help them because only the loved ones can help you. Because the truth is, most athletes and the veterans, we can't see it on ourselves. We don't. It's hard to
Mm.
understand, and we don't. We can see it on other people, but we can't see it on ourselves. And so it's very hard to treat and give people help if they can understand what's going on. But only your loved ones are going to see this, and so they're the ones who need to be really involved here.
Mm.
So if they come find me, I'll show them how to help the loved ones.
Okay, sounds good. And are there any any other technologies that you are planning to use or to create, besides
Absolutely.
this?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. Man, yeah, there's a lot of other stuff. They have the red light. A lot of the red light stuff is also helps with inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of magnetic things that they're using now, vibration. So there's a lot of things that's out there. We're going to have everything, including hopefully I want to even do some of the cryo rooms because it helps with the
Ah.
raising and with your T levels and stuff. It helps with that. So that also helps with the dementia.
Hmm.
And so we want to do everything as much as we can natural. We don't want to start punching a bunch of medicine at people because all the people I know who deal with this, who tried just medicine, including myself, it didn't work. It just made things worse. And like I said, the only relief I've ever received is from this machine right here.
Mm-hmm.
So you said you're a
Mm-hmm.
pre-med student right now, or
No, I'm a biomedical engineering student.
biomedical? That's okay, biomedical.
Yeah.
Because what I learned, I was an athlete from the time from I was 11 until I was 36 when I retired from Team USA. And the
Mm-hmm.
truth is, like, oh man, it's crazy to think about. But every time you get an injury, there's like a treatment plan of how to fix that injury, whether it's ice and
Mm.
compression and electric stim and then ultrasound and deep tissue massage. There's a way to get that inflammation out of the muscles or wherever you're injured. But when you get a concussion, they don't do anything for that. They just tell you don't go to sleep for
Mm.
the first few hours. So that inflammation, I believe, is all just sitting up there. And so until I got into that chamber, and it, within 1 hour, it just removed that stuff, and I was feeling better, like immediately. I could see colors again. And but the thing is, like, most people don't understand that there is something for them, and that's why there's a suicide rate. I believe is so high. They
Mm.
don't know there's help. And when you go see the doctors and traditional doctors, they're not going to help you. They just haven't. You got to find something that's a little bit different.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's interesting. I actually just interviewed uh Dr. Ayla Wolf. She deals about she's a doctor that deals with concussion,
Okay.
and she writes a book about like the concussion breakthrough. I think it's how to deal with your own concussion, because she also faced like the problem that people come in and they have all these like generic tests that doesn't really show that they
Absolutely.
have or they are improving or whatever. Like it's really generic and really not tailored to people, so that's why she made like a tutorial on, if this happens, yeah, take these steps, which is, I think it's pretty cool.
Oh,
And
what's her name?
Dr. Ayla Wolf, she has a
Ayla Wolf.
podcast as well. Yeah,
Okay, I have to look her up.
yeah,
Yeah, that sounds very
yeah. So
interesting.
maybe
How do you spell her
could
first name?
Ayla.
And then just Wolf?
Yeah, yeah. It's called the concussion breakthrough, I think. For that, yeah.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I'm always trying to connect dots and build partnerships, man, with people who
Yeah, of
understand this.
course. I mean, it'd be cool. You could be on her podcast as well, right?
You said the concussion protocol? Right?
The concussion breakthrough.
Breakthrough. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, it's pretty sick.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Okay, and do you have any, key takeaways or advice that you want to say for people who are, maybe going through the same thing as you, that you went
Yeah,
through before?
the best thing I can say is this thing is only your loved ones are going to help you. Like, 'cause once the athletes or veterans get this, it's overwhelming, and they aren't able to process what's going on. They probably can't even tell you what's wrong with them because it's hard to find words. And speaking for somebody who, like for me, I was in dementia, and this thing helped bring me out of it. Like, the, I'm looking for other answers, but this is the only answers I've found so far is hyperbaric and deep sea diving, which is crazy to
Mhm.
even think about that. But yeah, if you have your loved one and they're doing things that are out of character, because if you look at all the last few suicides and all the mass shootings, all the family members say the same thing. They say like they weren't acting like themselves anymore, or they were acting out of
Wow.
character. It's the same thing over and over. I don't care if the person was a serial killer. They were like, oh, he was such a nice guy. He was. But you know when your loved one is acting different. And then you have to look at their background. If they were around military, if they were athlete, if they were in maybe a bad car accident, then you need to look at this technology because the doctors will not have an answer for you. And the reason why is because they don't have the technology to find the issue. Like only if you have a massive brain bleed will they find anything.
Mm.
Until your
Yeah.
autopsy. Once they dissect your brain, then they'll find it. But now it's too late. By that time, lives have been destroyed. Families are hurting. And most of these, if you look at the last 8 suicides from the NFL, these guys were now living alone. They were separated from their wives. And then one guy who was not separated from his wife, he lived in a back bedroom, and his family just kind of revolved around him. Like, that's how bad this condition is. And if you look at our soldiers who are coming back and they're committing these mass shootings against the American people now, like they're American heroes. They went to war. They went to service to fight for us. They didn't just come back here and get radicalized. This is a condition. This is what the brain tell them to do. And so they just need help to hopefully treat that area, get that inflammation out of there, and let the brain go back to normal, and let it create its own neural paths. And just there's a lot of people who's used this, and they're doing great now, including myself. It's not perfect. I'm not ever going to be my old self again, but I'm not suffering like I was before. I'm not suffering as bad. Yeah.
Mhm. That's good news, and I'm sure it will be good news for a lot of people as well.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
By the way,
Okay,
I don't sell
mhm.
these things. I don't get a commission for sending people anywhere. No, I'm just sharing my experiences of what woke me up and how
That's
I
really
got better.
nice.
Yeah.
Wow, that's really inspiring. Okay, I think we're running out of time, so if you have a message that you want to leave us with.
Yeah, just if your loved one they're doing things that are out of character, they can't figure out what's wrong with them. Look me up. I'm pretty sure I can help you if they've been in the same arena as us, which is the military or athlete dealing with concussions. Like I could show you how to help navigate this thing. There's a lot of potholes I stepped in already. You don't need to make the same mistakes I made, and let me help you. I don't charge you. Everything is free. We're just sharing information over there. So One Man with a Chamber on TikTok, or you can find me William Person on. I'm on a lot of social media. You can find me. I'm easy to find.
All right, sounds good. Yeah, I think that is it, everyone. That is our guest, William Person. Thank you so much for listening. Have a great day. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording right there. I can't stop it.